Warning: Hebrews Toys Reviews is not intended for children. It is for adult collectors and the people over the age of 18.
Hello everybody, Hebrew77 here. In the last show that you saw, I showed you the from Metropolis, I won't call them playset, but the Battle of Metropolis guys. And at the time they were unopened, but it looks like they're just sitting in this box. And they're not taped down or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and remove these guys, and I'll review them as I go along. Here you see the Man of Steel himself, Superman. Now I had in the last video, I had a prediction in the last video, and my prediction was that this guy was built like one of those Hasbro wrestlers. And long and behold, check this out. You're getting this? You take his arms and you flip them up. Whoop, wrong one. Seems like they would both do it at the same time. You take his arms and you flip them up, and then there's a... I'm going to squeeze his legs. No, that doesn't do it. Is there some sort of button here in the back? No. Hey, his cape comes off. Okay, good. I guess my prediction was wrong. Now wait. They flip up. Okay, that's weird. They flip upward. Alright. So, sorry about that. So we flip the arms upward. I was kind of hoping this would be like the WWF Hasbro wrestlers. But I mean, it's kind of got that motion going on, but not really. I don't know what they were thinking with this one. If you're going to give somebody a gimmick, you should at least have, like, squeeze their legs and have their arms do something or something. But anyway, let's take a look at this Superman figure. Oh, there's my toilet. Nobody wants to see a toilet. He's just a plain looking Superman figure. It's kind of average. Of course, this is the Superman figure that was based off of the Superman cartoon in the 90s called The Adventures of Superman, or The New Adventures of Superman. I forget which one it was. It wasn't... I didn't watch that cartoon, so I don't know. I know it came on after or just before the Adventures of Batman and Robin, or the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. I'm not sure. But as you can see, it's your generic, average, everyday Superman set up here with the red boots and blue tights and red underwear on the outside, and yellow utility belt, even though it's not a utility belt, just a belt, I guess. And the cape, and as you see, the cape came off. And you got the red cape here. It's removable. And you got... some of these capes I've seen in the 90s actually had the S on the back of the capes. I'm surprised this one doesn't have it on it. Now, I don't own very many Superman figures. I think I own more of the modern figures. I do have a Brandon Roof. Is it Roof or Ralph? I don't know. But anyway, that's enough about Superman. Now, he came with this thing, whatever this thing is. Let's see. With pipe and smashed wall. With pipe and smashed wall. I can assume this is the pipe, which is very odd. I've never seen a pipe like that in real life, but if it's a bent pipe, I guess it's supposed to be odd. And this is the supposed smashed wall that he comes with. Okay, there it is, the wall. I don't know what part is supposed to be smashed, but I digress. There's that piece. And then you got Lois Lane. Now, these are the only two items seem to be sealed in here. They're taped in. The clipboard and her little computer gadget, which I thought this was a voice recorder of some sort. But anyway, this is Lois Lane. There you go. Pretty average looking figure for the time. Her arms seem to bend along her legs. Let's see her standability. Let's see if we can stand this figure up. Well, it almost works. There we go. Lois Lane standing up. This is one of those spring-loaded dealies that you shoot at people. I'm not quite sure how this works, but we will examine this a little bit later on. And then of course you got Lex Luthor, with kind of a black and a green sort of a suit on. It's supposed to be a kryptonite. His protection suit, his kryptonite armor, if you will. And I think these might come off here. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it feels like they're gonna come off. Hold on. They are removable, but it doesn't do much for him. He's got this kryptonite suit. It's black and green. Sort of looks like he's got hoses attached to it. I'm not quite sure what their function is. Maybe they're the air hoses that allow him project that projectile thingy we looked at a while ago. This thing. And then, of course, least but not last, you have Brainiac. Look at him. Boy, what an awesome looking figure he is, huh? Just the way they made these figures, also the way they made the Batman figures, his waist seems to bend all the way around. Arms, of course, just move up and down. They're not very articulated figures. They just kind of do that. Okay, let's move on. Here's some of Brainiac's accessories. You got this is also a projectile weapon, which we'll test out later. But it seems like in the 90s, a lot of these projectile weapons were made. And that's where the whole trend started. Like, there was a huge craze of, they came with Ninja Turtles, they came with G.I. Joes at the time, Batman. But anyway, let me go ahead and put all these guys together, and you can see them all suited up. Well, here they are all geared up, and I will explain a few things. Lex Luger had some arm pieces that came with him. These are the two arm pieces, but they did not seem to want to stay on, so I did not mess with that. I put good old Brainiac on his little sled here. It was kind of hard to figure out at first. There goes Lois. There's a peg here that's supposed to peg into his back, but the peg is actually lower than the part is when he's in a sitting position. And then this clips around his waist here. That's Brainiac on his sled. Lois Lane fell over. But the clipboard was not easy. Let me put this down. Let's see here. The clipboard is not easy to put in her hand. We'll move Lex Luthor over here and Superman back here. Alright. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess you could put them in either one. As you can see, the clipboard has a little clip dilly, which goes on the back side. So I'm going to put this in her hand in real time here, folks. Real time. There we go. Ah, there we go, the clipboard. And her little computer dealie, which I'm going to assume this was a, what back then would have been probably a cell phone, or a digital, or a digital recorder, because back then you didn't have, it's still, we're talking early to mid 90s or late, well actually I think it was, it was the late 90s, I'm sorry, late 90s, early 2000s or whatever. But when the show came out, it was right when Batman the Animated Series was at its peak, and it was starting to sort of level off when Batman and the Adventures of Batman and Robin came out. Now here's Superman again. We don't need to see really much more of him. Now we'll test the gadgets. Let's see here. We'll aim it at our villain, Lex Luthor. And I think what you do is you push in this button here. Oh! Wow, that flew over his head. Well, that missed him. Now, I believe this is Brainiac's weapon. So we'll fire it at Superman and see if it bounces off his chest. Kind of line it up here. Ha-ha! Success! Alright, now let's try this one more time with Lex Luthor. Let's see. Turn the camera. And... oh, man. Hold on. Let me... one more time here. Okay, let's get it back a little bit. We had it too close. Got him! Haha! Bullseye! Forgot to mention real quick, this piece here, which is supposed to go on Lex Luthor, does not sit on his body very well. As you can see, it kind of sits at the top. I suspect his head is supposed to come through the top of his dome, but when I tried to put it on there, it doesn't seem to work. Am I putting that on backwards? I don't think so. But anyway, what do I think about these figures in general? Honestly, I don't like them very much, especially the way Superman's hands are positioned. He can't hold anything. He can't make the fist like that. Flying action. I would have rather preferred him had a fist in open hand, or a fist in a hand like this, so he could grab things. The other only complaint that I have about him is, if you're going to give an action figure a gimmick, you can at least put some kind of button on it, or a trigger, or the legs that squeeze, something other than a hold and release type of setup. Now, the only reason why I actually bought this set, well, there's two reasons, was for this Lois Lane figure, which, by the way, she seems to be standing a lot better than any of the guys. I don't know why they made their legs so walky, but they did. And she has high heels on. So, go figure. Well, maybe not high heels, but she has heels nonetheless. And seems to be the only figure that could stand better than the guys. So in all, I would have to say that the main reason why I bought this box set was to get Lois Lane and Brainiac. Now I saw Lex Luthor on there, and I thought, oh, it'd be kind of cool to have another Lex Luthor, and now I got like 3 of them, different versions of him, of course. But anyway, I would rate these figures very low tier. They're just not that great, and I halfway expected that. I do like Lois Lane, the sculpt, the model, the fact that this is the first time we ever got a Lois Lane figure. I like Brainiac and his little sled-mobile here, although we could have done, there she went. Without the sled-mobile, see, you got heels. She's wearing heels, ladies and gentlemen. I would have preferred better, I won't say more, I don't really like gimmicky figures, but still, give us something. This has been Hebro77 saying, knowing isn't just half the battle, it's the whole damn war. See you next time.